Hey, hello, it's me, Julian Greystoke, author of The Wolf and the Hawk, a fantasy romance that you can have right now on Amazon. Anyway, I'm an author, so we're here to talk about authory things. Something that I've talked about before, but it has been a little while, and I've been feeling like I should talk about again. I don't even remember if I made a whole video about it, so we're going to talk about it again today. Is not being a natural, and just kind of the odd expectations that are sort of placed on people who write or people who want to write. If you are a writer, you almost certainly have heard this before. Oh, you're writing a book? I want to write a book someday, or I'm going to write a book someday. And on the inside, perhaps, your heart just squeezes because this poor hopeful person does not know what they're talking about or what they would be getting themselves into if they ever decided to sit down and try to write this book. But what if they're a natural, you might be saying? Surely those exist. Taking a water break here. My friend and I used to say that whatever color straw you got, that was your Hogwarts house, but we are over Hogwarts here, so now this is your Pokemon starter. I got red, so Charmander today.
A Charmander!
Let's talk about being a natural, or in my case, not being a natural. I have never felt like I was a natural at writing. Perhaps I am a little bit of a natural storyteller in that I have a lot of stories in my head. I never really have to struggle for what I should write next, as in I always have lots of ideas. Too many ideas, you might say. It's picking one that's the problem. However, I have never felt like I was a natural at the craft. The actual sit down, put the words on the page, make them make sense. Some of it could probably be blamed on dyslexia, which I know I have heard other people speak about how it is just harder for people with dyslexia to learn the rules, to master the rules, so possibly I have had to struggle harder and longer than somebody who does not have dyslexia. I don't know. I don't have anyone to compare it to because I've only ever been me. But I have literally been writing since I was a wee child. Since I understood that letters made words, I have been attempting to write down the stories in my head. And therefore I have been practicing at it a very long time. And not feeling like a natural, I think, is part of why I keep going, I keep practicing so much. Because I feel like I have so much to make up to get to the level that other people get to so easily. But this brings me to something I was talking about with some fellow writers the other day. And it really made me think and really got me going, I was talking about how I have written a lot. Like, a lot. Like novels and novels that have never seen the light of day, that are just for practice. I wrote what I consider to be my first novel when I was 13, but I had written novel-length things even before that. They were just so bad that I don't consider them to even be like what you could potentially call a first novel. And obviously I didn't do anything with that novel that I wrote when I was 13. I gave it to some people to critique. Bless their hearts, they tried. It was a disaster. But that was kind of when I was really trying to properly get into it, properly practice. I want to be a writer someday mode. And ever since then, it's just been book after book, short story, microfiction, prose. I write a lot. Potentially there are people who write 2 books and are already way better than me, and they've never written more than 2 books in their entire life. But anyway, I was talking with these fellow writers about how I have written a lot and how I have practiced, and how now where I am, I feel pretty good about my writing. Because I have been working so hard and so long at it, I feel fairly confident that while I'm not an amazing author, I could at least be qualified as good. Good. Just good. Good is all I want. Not perfect, not awesome, not flawless. Good. And that's where I consider myself to be at this moment. I should never stop. I should never be stagnant. I should never stop improving. But right now, I feel like I am at a place of good. And I was talking about how I have books that are querying that may never get picked up by agents, and how I refuse to be ashamed of those books and think that they are bad books just because an agent didn't pick them up. Because I feel that I have worked and worked to get to the level of good. And really, good is kind of all you need to get published, and sometimes maybe not even that. So yes, I told that other author that I refuse to be ashamed of my books that don't get picked up by agents, and I refuse to consider them bad books just because of that. And I mentioned that it was because I have practiced so much that I think I have reached the level of good. And I don't want to throw shade, because this just made me think and got me thinking about how writing is treated and looked upon. That person said that practice doesn't make perfect, practice cements bad habits. And that, of course, got me panicking. What if all this time, all of these books that I have written, I haven't actually been getting good? I have just been teaching myself to cement in all of my bad habits. And it got me thinking about how I, starting my career now as a self-published writer, people who read my books are not going to see huge jumps in skill like they would if I had started a bit earlier in my career. And I kind of did. If you go back and you look at Phoenix, which is the first book that I self-published many a moon ago, and then you look at The Wolf and the Hawk, my latest book, I do desperately hope that you can tell how much I've grown. Not that I think that Phoenix is a bad book, I still have it out there. If I thought it was bad, I would take it down. But of course, when you're a writer, that panic sets in. So if somebody says something like, all your practice probably just made you worse, that's hyperventilation territory right there. I did try to explain that I'm not just writing book after book after book without getting any outside feedback. If you've been here on my channel for a while, you know I always get beta readers for my books. I seek out critique. I actively yeet my book at people being like, help me fix it. I love critique. I am in a constant state of looking for ways to improve. Like lately, I have been taking on board the critique that maybe I don't have enough interpersonal conflict in my books, and so I have been actively looking at the media that I consume to see how they are doing interpersonal conflict to what I can learn from it. And I think that's a big difference that perhaps I wasn't getting across to this other author, is that I'm not just doing the same thing over and over again. I am actively seeking critique and actively looking at where I fall short and how I can improve it. And that is the key to true practice, is not to just do the same thing again and again, but look for ways that you can improve. But anyway, this whole conversation, aside from making me have a literal panic attack, my husband and I were trying to watch a TV show at the time, and I made him turn it off because I was panicking so hard that I couldn't pay attention to the show. And we had to sit and think and talk about it, and this expectation, I feel, that is placed upon people who write, not just by other authors, but by people in general, that writing is easy and you should just be good. Because too much practice could be bad. You could cement in bad habits, but not enough practice means you don't know what you're doing. What are you supposed to do? Just be good. Just be good. Writing is easy. Just be good. And I think that's a pitfall that a lot of people can fall into. Maybe publishing a book before it's ready because they haven't taken the time to explore whether it is ready or not, because they think that just be good means just write it and put it out there. But what if you are writing book after book and you don't feel like you're improving? Then maybe you need to go find some more critique. I don't know. It's a weird thing, and I don't really necessarily know if I have a point to this video other than to point out that it's something that I have definitely noticed. The average person assumes that when they are ready to write their great American novel, they will just be able to sit down and do it and it will be good right away. But it has been my personal experience that I cannot do that. I need to practice and look at things and keep trying to fill in the gaps where I know that I still have flaws. I have never felt like I am a natural or I am just good to go. I don't know how people have the confidence to publish their second book ever, or even their first. Like that, the confidence, it baffles me. So yeah, that's just something that's rattling around in my brain. If you are a writer, do you feel like there is a kind of weird pressure to just be good, to be successful with the first thing you've ever written, to make your heart book your perfect first book? Or do you think that, yeah, we do need to practice, and frankly, writers should practice more? Do you think that I practice too much and it is cementing in my bad habits? Comment below and let me know. And if you're interested in more writerly things here on this channel, there are playlists for that. I've been doing this for quite a while. Just like writing, I keep practicing this YouTube thing, although admittedly with YouTube I do kind of do the same thing over and over again. But you can also follow me on social media or on my Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to exclusive content not seen here on the regular channel. That content may include me talking about my personal writing more than I talk about it here on the regular channel, so if you want the lowdown on the hoedown, showdown? Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't be a writer. Keep trying. Keep following those dreams. I super believe in you, Tad Cooper.
Gallivant may not believe in you, but I do. I super believe in you, Tad Cooper.
And I'll see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye! It has come to my attention that there may be a few people left in the world who do not know who my patrons are, and this will not stand. My patrons are Belle, Anne-Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, Anna W., Anna C., Light Julie, OS, Lennox, Kit, Hayden Glade, and Persephone. There, consider yourselves educated on the best people in the whole world. You're welcome. Hey, I'm not giving up today. There's nothing getting in my way. And if you knock me over, I will get back up again. Oh, if something goes a little wrong, well, you can go ahead and bring it on. 'Cause if you knock me over, I will get back up again.